is our second
They're
installment.
still coming in. Give it a second. They're still coming in.
And it's almost up on YouTube. Another few seconds. We are on.
Just ask everybody to go ahead and mute your microphones, please.
So when you've come in, if you could mute your mics and turn off your video for those who've just come in. Thank you.
There we go.
Okay, we good to go, guys?
All good?
Yes.
Welcome everybody again. This is our second installment of our Halloween marathon. This is our new hub of interconnectivity for Andrew's new teachings. Andrew Bartzis, the Galactic Historian. So with me now, part of Two Feathers Medicine, and my brothers Maty and Dale Tobin. Great to have you on again, guys. Great to have you here again, Andrew. And tonight, we want to discuss the Warriors of Twilight. Who are they? Who are they? What are those middle shades of grey? We want to know more about them, Andrew.
All right. For those of you who have been listening to me a while, know that I'm a rather verbose use of words. I like to be descriptive and at the same time visceral and understanding. Language has more than intention behind it at times. And we have an odd set of ideologies here, light versus dark, and yet no middle path has ever had a major religion. So why is it binary with a trinary option? When actually it's many options are beyond that. And over the years of observing the vastness of this place and space that we are, I have seen things come and go from heads of galactic states to local people becoming galactic personalities and everything in between. In, let's say, 1994, 1995, before Kurt Cobain was killed, for certain. This is where I ran across another group known as the Warriors of Twilight. They didn't technically originate from here, but they are originals, if you use the gangster term. They were the original extra options with an S. Light, dark, neutral. And then there's the many infinite ways to interpret sacred neutral. And the Warriors of Twilight are a group that have absorbed the sacred neutral in a completely different frequency and different shape. And they operate as the internal checks and balance system for the Galactic Ascension machine. Their external yet OG reality status here allowed them to come in and be neutrers, nullifiers, neutralizers, removers, or any other isms or words that you want to create that wasn't going to add up to the Galactic Ascension machine, reducing the infinite amount of karma to finite through the grinding away of souls into this infinite reduction process and circuit. So the other day I introduced the group in the back. We want to introduce the groups in the front. So everybody that is here, just sit back, relax. If you have not shared this Zoom room, you can share this Zoom room to anybody else that you know. We'd ask everybody to please go through the humble exercising of clicking like on the YouTube, hitting share on your social media, and if you want to invite a friend to come and listen, tell them to come on and listen in the room. We've got our spooky worlds of looking at the many shades of middle gray. So the other day, I talked to everybody about this particular subject matter, and let's start from there. Laura, what was your experience? Something you'd like to reiterate as your nature of experience with them, and you can use everybody else that was in the room too. What you remembered the most.
What I remember the most was seeing a line of almost Zulu-like warriors. I know we all perceive them slightly different when we did the meditation with you. So mine were in grass skirts with spears and great big shields. And although they came across as fierce warriors, there was also a more gentle side to them that I experienced. We all had different experiences. And I was invited in. I think I said to you, I was looking at what I thought was a lot of stars, which was actually the individual holographic points that they use for, I can't remember what you said now, was it for interpretation or for writing or communication?
Holographic language.
Holographic language, yeah. So
that can create everything in between, all the ups and downs of all forms of projected language.
Yes. So my experience was to sit with them as one of them was pressing. He does seem to be touching all these stars, all these holographic reference points. And they also gave me, as a greeting, some star water, which I think you said that will give me some aha moments.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think at the time, obviously, Maty and Dale were off having their own perceptions of them and went on to do other things, which they can relate. But when I say I enjoyed, I found it a fascinating experience sitting with them. I felt I was treated with a great deal of respect, and I found them, the ones I spent time with were very peaceful, but I also felt very protected, but I also felt very welcomed, and I felt very honored.
Yes, as part of the context, I took them to visit a city so they could see all the aspects of it. And this is why we wanted to present a different way of seeing the universe on this Hallows Eve. It's not all light and dark. There are those things that dictate to the light dictatorship who's in charge. And over the last many centuries, the light dictatorship has challenged those that present themselves to be another source, another power, another frequency, another option that's not supposed to be here. Maty would like to share your experience.
Absolutely. So when you first brought them into my awareness, it was like I was being projected into space. And then in that space, there was just lines of these guys just all around me, just almost like they'd created a circle around me. And it was, if you were, if you grew up with things like He-Man and so forth, it wasn't much unlike that. Each one of these beings was so unique and different, and they were all just a complete different expression to anything I'd ever seen before, because you couldn't put them into the dark and you couldn't put them into the light, but you could easily mix them up with both. But they each had a very individual expression.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first thing that I did was I was presented with what I can only call either their security or a sentinel of some sort of description, but it was like a scorpion body with a cyclops face, and there wasn't a battle. It was just, I don't know how to describe it, Andrew, but when you psychically come up to another being like that, there's an unseen conversation.
Sure.
I don't really know how to explain it.
The best human reaction we have it is like when you see people do their gang hand slaps and finger thing and gang moves, and that tells what's going to happen to the other guy. And if the other guy responds wrong, it's on. Okay.
That's
like
right.
That.
And so we had our moment, and he was kind of, yeah, all right, you're cool. And and so that was it, really. It became very abstract after that. And of course, you were talking to the other people as well, to these guys as well, and it became abstract. But there was a point where the conversation was going off, and I had to stop Andrew because they just showed me a void into the space between spaces, and it just opened up like a crack in the universe between universes, and I could see through into it.
Yeah,
and
that was a crack in the universe.
Yeah, and I could see through into it.
It's something that the visionaries throughout all visionary time and space are going to begin to re-experience for the 15th time as a brand new memory.
Right, and I can
And
still see all of the
I
colors.
stress re-experience as a memory the 15th time.
Okay.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, hint, hint,
A great
wink, wink.
remembering.
The interesting comment that you gave me was they're trying to recruit you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you they're going to be pushy as fuck. It's going to be like a top level salesman on your ass everywhere you go, making you compromise.
But it was very unique to have an expression that wasn't pushing a particular agenda. There, you know, it wasn't. It didn't feel like it was agenda driven.
Those that come to that group get recruited from a very special group of people who have already elevated themselves to that over many millions of years. That's what the recruitment for that type of group is.
Right.
Do you ever remember in the beginning of Conspiracy World 2011, 2012, somebody that did something about the Silver Legion? Anybody remember that?
I remember that. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. I don't know if they're still around or whatever, but this group, somebody tried to make an association that they were never the same. The Silver Legion is completely different.
You spoke about the Silver Legion on one of your shows at one time.
A few times. I caused a lot of how do I put it? Rattled feathers on the other side.
Not
very
even
severely,
ruffled.
no, very severely ruffled, severely ruffled feathers. Didn't draw blood, but I definitely ruffled the feathers to their limit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they didn't think that you'd seen them.
No, I crossed, I don't know, but pollinated communication from one realm to another and was able to bypass their collective view and go direct to each individual. So their collective had no power to limit the information flow.
Mm-hmm.
So tough luck.
You put some chicken in that like salad.
No, it wasn't exactly chicken. Might have been, let's just say, red meat.
Red meat, yeah.
Red meat. With some protein powder. Dale, you want to share your experience?
Yeah. So when I connected to them, they showed me their healing chambers. So the first thing I saw was like a warrior, and they looked kind of like ant type. They had different hands coming out, and they showed me like a rattle, but it was like a battle rattle with like a knife on top of it. And then I was shown there was a group of them, loads of people just around this one patient. Then when I tuned into it, it was like a healing chamber. And then when I looked into it, and Andrew helped us go through a few things with it, I could see like a cocoon around this person, healing them. And there was like these huge silver lines of light around them. And when I was going through this process of seeing this, all of a sudden I could see like a spider web coming in, and it was like a spider web of connection. And these spider webs were actually going into the patient. So I was seeing a lot of high level psychic surgery stuff. It was incredible.
We were watching for English science fiction people, the positronic brain network of the dream world.
Yes. Yes.
That's what you were seeing, through worms, through mushroom space, because that's what the last Star Trek Discovery, it tripped on mushrooms every time its engine went active. Yeah. Literally, it tripped on mushrooms. Yes, they did that.
And that was it. It was that cocoon, and you remember you saying it was about them taking them back to the fetus state. And
back
there
to
was
the
like
infinite fetus state. Yeah.
There was like a rebirthing void bit as well. Like it was like a circle that went past through to. It's kind of like a rebirthing stuff, and there was all sorts of different stuff going on. Like loads of different lines of light just connected to the patient. And yeah, it was beautiful. It was really cool and expanding.
Well, with that being said, everybody, who wants to take a tour? A tour of another place and another space and another time. And we're all going to ask you to get aboard the Galactic Ascension roller coaster. Okay, everybody get in. Put your seat backs, tray tables into the upright positions. Okay. Put down the bar. Yep.
Down the agenda.
Well, you, at this point, is that drive it like a stroller? Nope. You don't have any power here. You are just unentangled and entangled observers simultaneously. With that being your hint, hint, wink, wink instructions, you are asking to have two perception points of view. The person experiencing it and what's causing all this to happen on the outside. If you can remain that neutral enough to add a second flavor of view in. Okay. So we're going going up the hill. It's not that high. It's getting a little higher. It's not that high. Hey, we're up pretty high. Hey, look, that's the stars out there. And as we go and we peak and we get over the top, a portal opens and we enter a downward spiral that feels like it's going for infinite. It spirals, it loops. It gets you discombobulated to the point where you blink and poof, you're out on the other side. Great stars from all angles of your vision. A series of bright ones attracts you. And you find your train entering the solar system. A solar system with 185 planets. Big planets. With thousands of moons and one oversized sun. Okay, you let your train slow down a little bit more as you're realizing there's a lot of traffic ahead of you. The train comes to a pause, and when the door on the front side opens up, and a thing, described as a thing. No shape, no size, no form, but yet it's there. The thing asks for tickets, please. An automated system delivers the tickets to the thing. And when the thing looks back, it is all things simultaneously. It is your first contact into seeing perceptions and points of view from other places and spaces that are designed to open you up philosophically and not weaponize your thoughts, minds, ideas, constructs. So everybody has a little friend over there. Train starts taking out. You come to the 5-star Galactic Hotel called the Galactic Historian Hotel. I'm branding myself in the other worlds. You were all visited by me, many simultaneous me's. Okay, taking your bags up, putting everything away, setting up appointments for you to get a temporary visa to go anywhere in the solar system. Go ahead, Maty.
I can see like busboy Andrews and then all these other Andrews.
Waiter Andrew.
Yep.
Everywhere I'm going. Just Andrews everywhere.
Yes. Merchandising me.
It was the busboy Andrew that made me laugh with the little hat.
I've been Andrewed.
Yep. Yes, Sean asked, Andrew, have you been being visited by you? Yes, I've been visited by myself many times. Many versions of myself at many different moments.
And his evil twins showing himself on Halloween.
All right, everybody. So you're at your the Galactic Historian Hotel. You have been given a 4D bus pass. Okay, for infinite public transportation in intrasolar system area process. Part of your checking in benefits for going into the Galactic Historian Hotel was a book of where to go first. Top 3 places to go and experience. Okay, the first place you're going to go to is the sports stadium. It's actually a moon that houses several hundred different stadiums for all different types of sports, and it's broadcast all over the 25 local galaxies, and some outer universal stuff. So you'll see this as the live sports world. Its culture reflects that. Okay. So your train drops you off there, and you're filtered into your first intergalactic sports bar. There's huge volumes of spaces available. And in fact, if you're looking, there's thousands, if not tens of thousands, being engaged in betting in their own sport. And people going, betting, Andrew, isn't that evil gambling? Yes, it is. Here, it is. It's a sport in other places that is using accurate calculations with a validated no cheating done by the mind of the planet to prove there's no cheating. Okay, because instant calculation is a very unique skill in this universe.
And they can play in teams.
Right. And that's why they do these betting things. And again, and they're betting on the skills of other people doing other sports. Okay. So everybody that's out there, go and start writing into some of your experiences into the chat room. Dale, what are you experiencing as you're going through this?
So when I got to the hotel, there was loads of you in the reception taking appointments, and I ended up in like a big bar, sports bar, before I was going into the stadium, and it was like a bar just full, but it was an actual spiritual hygiene bar where it was all clean and nice. Then as I went through to the stadium, just like it felt like to me a stadium, but it had no winners, had no losers. It was basically a place to be able to be free, and there wasn't that taint of gambling or that taint it had. Yeah, really cool.
There's a lot of banter going on though. The rivalry is real.
Oh, where's our version of Andrew gone?
Which one are we doing? There he is.
He was muted because he was switching multi-dimensional devices.
He can't keep up with himself.
Exactly. I moved too fast. All right. So what I was going to say is, hold on a second. They don't use competition through the same lens that we have here.
Yeah.
Competition can be done in such a way where it can be greatly beneficial if the nature of the multidimensional competition is mastering skill sets. The competition will master a skill set that will make you far more influential in the galactic potentials market.
And then everybody upgrades a little bit because everybody has to go one level up.
Exactly. Everybody levels up. And what do we got in the chat room?
Very vivid hotel, floating in space, huge room in the bar area, many levels of being, speaking, laughing, lots of fast minds. Yeah, I agree, Claire. Claire Chamberlain, thank you. Santo, a sense of being able to travel without all the restrictions of travel on the planet. Yeah. Jason, there is space for healthy competition. A sense of trust from Santo. From Amy, lots of hoopla, fun and entertainment.
Now just imagine if we had these on our world, how different our world could be.
Yeah, but everybody leaves poor, pissed off.
Or worse.
None
Yeah,
want
worse.
Pissed on.
Yeah.
Yeah, pissed on and pissed off, aren't they?
And Herminia from the chat says she just felt like she was in a Harry Potter game with the brooms and Quidditch.
Yeah, I must say, Herminia, I felt that too, because I saw
Yeah.
multi-dimensional chess. And I also saw the stadium just expands as it fills. It's just another layer of seats are created.
Just
and
another
created
layer
and
of
created.
seats.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It just expands and expands. Sean loved the roller coaster spirals. It was what I wished the movie theatre intro roller coaster would be. Yes.
Yes.
AB, you beat me by 1 second. Laugh out loud. We're living our own movie, Darnay.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So let's get back to this vision a second.
Yeah.
We are in our galactic sports bar, and you are all my crew, and one of me is leading your crew, which is me, my voice here now. All right, everybody, line up. Okay. We're going to be entering the blue light bar, and we are going to be gambling on, how do I describe this animal? A snake. That has like a scorpion stinger to it. It's a snake. Instead of a rattle, it has a scorpion stinger to it. So it doesn't have arms or legs. Okay. And it can jump very long distances, like 20, 30 meters. And we are going to get our snakes to jump and fight each other, not fight each other. No, yeah, they're going to fight each other. Don't worry about it. Not for the first few legs of the race. It is a death match at the end.
Does this?
All of these animals have agreed and volunteered to be in these positions.
And does the scorpion tail sting kill?
Yeah.
Yes,
it actually sends a lightning bolt out of it,
okay.
like an electric eel,
Which would stun the opponent
and kill.
Okay.
And kill. Yes.
Wow.
So it's fight to the death.
Okay. Well, no. The first thing you do is before you order drinks, you go and meet the souls that are in the game. So you all get taken to your seats, and there's this 3D, actually 4D holographic screen of a snake with a scorpion's tail going, "Hello, what did you like to know about me? And I'd like to know something about you," before the betting begins.
Mm-hmm.
Maty, what would you ask or say to the snake?
I'm just trying to figure my way through the technology at the moment. I can see one.
This just tunes you ancestrally to this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you have similar ancestral linkages to it, you can modify it to do great skill in here.
Okay. Well, I can see it. I don't really know what to say other than just win, man. I'll give you whatever I can.
Okay.
Give whatever I can.
Okay, how many quid are you going to put down?
Oh, how much do other people putting down? What's a good bet? Let me look into my galactic wallet. And put $1 million quid down.
Is your face on the money, Andrew, as well?
Yes.
Do you own our birth certificates at this place as well?
Everyone has 1,000 GH dollars here.
Okay. If I've got 1,000, I'm betting 500 then.
Okay.
Yeah. On my
Dale,
guy.
what would you?
I'm going to give him. I was just going to give him some spells as well.
Okay. Anything you can upload to him as tricks, yes.
So
yeah.
I've asked it what its track record's like and has it won before? And it says no, but I will win this.
How many GH dollars are you putting down?
I'm putting all of it down. 1,000 GH dollars.
Showing them the faith.
1 minute. Just take a look at. Dale,
he
just
asked
take
for a
look
blood
at
oath
the armour on my
already.
one first.
He's offered his blood.
Just take a look at the armor on my one first, Dale, before you put all your money on it.
Laura, what do you do with yours?
Well, yeah, we were just chatting, and I have every confidence in he's yellow, mine, with a scorpion tail, and he's very underrated. So I'm going for the middle at 750. So I'm going into my celestial wallet and taking 750 Galactic Historian. We don't say dollars, do we? Okay,
dollars. Exactly. They are not. They are not fiat currency.
And I think mine has a hidden. It's got something hidden that will surprise people.
Okay.
Okay.
How about everybody else in the chat? Let them all do a second to type in. Sean's betting on the other guy. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So a snake disappears for Sean and the other side reappears. And it's got like an elephant trunk and an alligator body. Except its legs are pretty tall, so like the size of a horse. It's more alligator-ish, but an elephant nose, the size of a horse.
Mm-hmm.
And the race is they have to make it through the holographic fields, which is basically uphill all the way, and into like a climb off section where it becomes full combat while they're climbing. And whoever gets to the top, it's not a mountain, it's more like a really steep hill. Okay. So you really have to choose your angles well.
Mm.
All right. All right, so everybody's placed their bets. Okay. Your first holographic drink comes to you.
Mm.
Okay. It is just white, etheric light that has taste, touch, scent, smell, warmth, cold, and value to it. Take a sip. You have your drink. You can have your whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a 1 minute countdown. There are 9,740 bettors.
Just giving it some secret juice.
Yeah, well, there's other people in other
right now, bro.
places betting against you because you guys are all newbies. Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 0.9, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1, 0.09, 0.08, and flash. It's over. And the winner is those with lightning wings.
That's what Andrew. That's what I was about to say. Mine told me it's got lightning, the essence of lightning in it.
Okay. There are 103 winners.
Yeah, mine got through.
Okay. Now let's get the point of this perception here. So who are you really betting against?
Yourself.
And the doubt or confidence of others, and how the doubt and confidence of others in a manipulated intentional betting ring can affect your ability to choose correctly. So going into these types of betting fields would you would learn to protect yourself from the projections of others and accept the projections from others that fit just right, that push you to the next level of perception.
It's matching signature frequency.
Yes. All right, everybody's server comes around this time, and it's time for you to order your first holographic meal. 0 calories, 0 trans fat, all the flavor. And aftertaste. And after feeling. And afterglow. On the menu, a special blue chicken. Deep fried blue chicken.
Oh, has it got crispy coating?
Nope. Okay.
Oh,
And then the infinite choices of you can get. Who's willing to try an off-world dish for the first time?
mhm.
Okay, everybody in the chat room. It's chicken or what the chef will create for you. All right. Everyone's placed their orders. A no time moment happens and flush, your food is there. It's delivered in this red hot iron, like it's pulled right out of the cauldron of melting metals. And you have this very delicate dish in front of you. And the waiter, for everyone, takes out a scoop of this molten lava looking stuff and puts it into your very delicate dish and hands you a spoon and tells you that this is a micro teleporter spoon. So you can get the taste of a micro amount of this material instantly ready for your mouth's preparation, so it will not burn, harm, or do anything to you. Who's ready to taste the molten hot metal?
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm hungry. Let's go.
Okay. And again, this is a micro taster.
Everyone in the chat is too.
Okay. What's it taste like?
Oh,
Oh.
Like a flavor I've never tasted before.
Mm.
it's like magnets.
Getting a lot of really interesting response. Cosmic Kool-Aid.
Yes.
Okay. Childhood joy with a twist of afternoon lemon. Perfect. Okay. All right. So a few minutes goes by and your second waiter comes up with your multi-course taste test from around the world. Okay. Your second one is delivered in this, how do I describe it? A box of light. Okay. And the waiter reaches into the box of light. And how to describe this? Pulls out this glowy ooze, kind of like saltwater taffy, wraps it around like a metal spatula, and then puts it into your bowl. And this time gives you a knife and a fork. And they are both micro testers too. So it's a thick taffy-like substance, except glowing with light. What's it taste like? What's its experience?
It's like the sun.
Reminds me of vanilla.
Laura?
Mm.
It's spaghetti-like. Yeah, like golden.
It's got such an afterglow.
Mhm.
Mm.
All right. New York for the Europeans, leather and space dust. There we go. All right. And now the last part of your meal comes. And the waiter puts this like oversized soup bowl, like half a gallon kind of soup bowl. And there's clearly a broth inside it, but there are also things on the bottom. And he hands you a ladle so that you could take out and then add to your own bowl. Who's willing to take the first scoop into the solids?
Yeah. In for a penny, in for a pound. That's what I was just about to say.
Mhm.
Might as well just go for it.
It's shapeless and formless and has no ethereal body, but it is real.
Well,
That is source in an amoeba, in like a lemon soup. Source amoeba lemon soup.
it was weird as fuck.
Uh-huh.
It's a cosmic consomme.
It doesn't just have one flavor every time I'm trying it, it's different flavor.
But taste it goes beyond taste though. It's like
Mm.
I tasted Marmite just then.
it's like a drug. It's hard to explain. It's like it's like doing drugs but without the negative side effects.
It's a new GMO, galactic modified organism.
Galactic modified source, GMS.
The
The universal
exactly.
GMS.
We outsourced for our source material. Generic source. Yeah, insourced it out. We outsourced our
Source from
insourcing.
sourced.
Exactly, sourced from source. Free range source. All right, so now that everybody's had a sample of bedding, flavors, positions, points of view, well, what's your view of this place like now?
Oh,
You know, you can look out you can look out the windows of the stadium, and you can go to other places. There are screens that will take you on tours of places, unless you just actually rather go somewhere. But since you have the GH tour package, you're all going to go to your next place now. You're going to make it back to your Galactic tour bus. Okay. You're going to take off and you're going to be heading towards one of the really main big planets. And this planet is a planet of mountains. Okay? There are rivers, there are lakes, but there are more things way above the ground than below it. Okay? And you're going to be taken to one of the highest peaks of this planet, 45,000 feet.
Wow.
Okay. And the entire upward volume of this mountain, there is a city carved onto it and into it. Okay. You get taken to your first landing pad. You're all ushered off, and you're all given uniforms to wear, and like hard hats, like you could be touring a facility or a factory or something. Okay. You get your galactic tour guide. Okay. He takes you through a energy and pressure-based system change, and your bodies adapt to a new pressure. When you come out the other side, you're inside the mountain in a tunnel. It's about 20 feet round at the top, the bottom too. And you move on for a while, and you come to an area where there's this big glass window looking inward. And you realize that the entire mountain has been hollowed out from the inside. And there's also a city on the inside. But there's also this colored air coming up from deep within inside the mountain. And this air has clear life force energy behind it. And you can see that this entire city has an air filtration system that takes this clear spirit air and brings it back to all the living and breathing beings here. And that the center of this mountain has metaphorically become the lung of a planet. Harvested here is this pure light oxygen, infused light that's spread to the rest of this planet and solar system freely. So they take you to the first room where the first layer of air extraction is done, where they're looking for the planet's essence, its elemental connection. And it refines it so it's a much more bigger collection of this essence. And then it's bonded with the outside air that it has also collected essence airs on it. And then shipped and pumped to other areas where more collected air essences are blended into the perfect brew of air. This air regenerates every cell inside your body. Allows all of your shards from other places and spaces to also experience this air in their blood, regenerating and rejuvenating. All right, let's take a pause there. Laura, what are you experiencing there? And if anybody wants to write in the chat room too.
I've called it blueprint air because it feels like it's taking you back to my original blueprint, and the color I'm seeing is a very pale, translucent blue that just is so pure and almost crystalline, almost like glittery. And it just, yeah, that's the way I see it, is a blueprint air.
Okay. Maty?
Well, at first I was just observing, and then I realized I could actually go in there and get amongst it and have a good sniff. You know, you have your radio rules, Andrew, and I have mine as well.
Uh-huh.
I think I know this kind of light. I've seen it before.
And
So this is a very pure kind of light that is a signature frequency match for anybody that comes across it in their own unique way. It's infinite in its expression. It's like pure source light.
Yeah. That's
It's
in a
only the second
developed.
time.
Hold on a second.
Go on.
I'm sorry. It's distilled source light and planetary celestial light blended into a perfect balance that's shared freely with everyone.
This is only the second time I've ever seen it. And it's the first time I've ever seen it actually utilized by the being.
This is where you all get to look at the key pads and the information pads about this facility. All the data is there for you to see.
Andrew, your audio's going a bit.
Sorry.
Oh, there you go.
I was changed devices and I did it again. I'm talking away. No one's hearing me.
We will just about.
Yeah. So everyone, this is you get an opportunity to look at the data pads, the computers. They're all open up to you to see everything, where it goes, what it does, the science behind it. Validate yourself here. All right, a few minutes goes by, you guys are herded back up to your Galactic Historian tour, and you're taken off this planet and to another major planet. And this planet is similar to Earth. I mean, it has continents and shelves and water. It's just similar idea look, but this planet's bigger than Earth. You are taken to a how do I describe this area? A temperate zone. It is cold, but it's currently the season it is right now. It's not terribly cold. So it's like 7 or 8 degrees Celsius. So you'll need to wear jackets when you come out. And then you're taken to a building that looks like a giant crystal dome. And the crystal dome is probably 200 meters wide. And you're brought in through the front door and you can immediately see the dome. And the dome is focusing to something in the center. And when you go to look at the rail that looks into the center, it goes down and down and down and down and down and down and down as far as you can see. And you're taken to an elevator that takes you down and down and down and down and down until finally you're at the bottom minutes later. When you come out of the elevator, you look up and you look down, you see another dome pointing up the opposite way. So you're now inside a cylinder with 2 domes on the end. Okay. You're now brought inside to the cylinder, into that area, and you have 0 gravity effects inside you there. Here, your photonic light can help your physical body move, where you can learn spiritual locomotion, how to move yourself throughout time and space. This is a womb chakra of this planet that has been tapped into to teach you how to gain spiritual locomotion while inside and outside of the womb. So everybody can see everybody moving in all the different ways. Some of you are like doggy paddling. Some are backstroking. Some are running. Just feel the freedom. Okay, after a few minutes, you guys are pulled down from wherever you're at, reassembled, and then you're taken to the next part of the facility. You go down another elevator that goes down and down and down and down and down and down and down some more and then down some more again. When you come out the other side, you're taken to an area where you see this. How do I describe it? The biggest nugget of gold you've ever seen. 300-400 meters in width and in shape. And there are these they basically look like metal connectors that hold this nugget in place. So it's like perfectly aligned at an angle. And you are brought up to the nugget, and there are metal stairs to walk up and around the nugget. Think of these stairs spiral all the way around the nugget, all the way up. So you could touch the nugget all the way in your entire walking experience. Yeah. Maddie, what are you experiencing? You're muted.
I can't really explain it, actually. It's when I was in the actual room chakra itself, I wasn't even bound by physical form. I could just do whatever I wanted to do, just be wherever I wanted to be. I became a sandstorm for a while. And then this gold nugget is just kind of, I don't know, I'm just in awe of it, actually, to be honest with you. I'm just touching it and feeling it. And as I'm walking around, just finding it very hard to stop touching it.
Well, this whole experience was designed for you to touch it at every level of the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always different veins in it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Laura, what are you experiencing?
So in the double domed room chakra, I moved through intent, so I could go wherever I wanted just by intent and thinking about it. And now as I climb the spiral stairs, each stair lights up, and everything within my body, my skeletal system, my nervous system, my blood, marrow, everything is infused in this gold throughout my body. As if you're activated by a trillion universal suns.
Beautiful. Dale, what about you?
So when I went into the womb area, I could feel straight away before you even said that womb energy. And when I went into it, I was able to be like an egg, a fetus, and I was able to teleport into different states and fly into different areas and go into that real womb deep healing state. As I went into the golden nugget, I could feel basically just as I was touching it, it was energizing me and giving me more kind of higher frequency. I felt like I was feeling a bit more responsibility with that. And it was just basically as I was touching it, it was just this unique feeling of, beautiful consciousness and high energy. It was incredible.
Wonderful. So everyone, this has been a sample of another place and another space and another time that is a different point of view. And it's an opportunity for you to go through layered experiential processes, learning the different perspectives, such as in the gambling thing, or being willing to open to experiences and let visions and ideas and concepts flow to the point where you know you're not just making shit up, that it has a realness factor too. So exercises like these are great things to do when you're wanting to feel adventuresome and go to a theme park. Protected, just as protected as Disney. Okay. Metaphorically, yes, I said that. Yeah. So real quick, to end this journey, we're all taking on the Galactic Historian bus back to the Galactic Historian Hotel. Okay? And welcome back to the Galactic Historian radio show by Two Feathers Medicine. How was your journey, everyone?
Can we leave a review on TripAdvisor, Andrew?
Yes,
Yeah.
Galactic TripAdvisor, yes.
It was worth it. It was worth it just for that sun. I've never seen a sun like that, with the planet so close as well.
Yeah, that's built from the ground up. Whole
Was it
solar
really?
system.
Yeah, because the sun was so huge, but it wasn't giving off that kind of nuclear energy ours does. Nuclear's the wrong word.
Yeah. And now, because we are Galactic Marketing Extremes, we're going to be talking about our Scotland bus trip.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Perfect transition.
Yes, it is. How can you resist after that? A GH tour where Andrew will appear in many forms.
Was this fantasy? Is it reality? Any way the wind blows doesn't really matter at all. Let me tell you, there are many level of galactic marketers cheering. He did it.
So anybody in the chat room, if you've been to Scotland as well, and your perception of it, if you'd like to pop in the chat as well, if you visited it.
All right, so how about we just talk about how it appeared, how Scotland as a manifestation, it was 4 weeks ago?
A bit more than, was it longer than?
Yeah.
It feels like a
It's a bit
lifetime
longer
ago.
than that,
It does, doesn't it? Been to so many places.
This is the end of October, so I think it was
Oh,
last week in September or
what,
first week in October.
that we discussed it.
Yeah, our first meeting, yeah.
No way.
Oh, yeah, I've lost track. It was, yeah.
I know how to find out. I'll go look at my
Yeah.
schedule. Who wants to bet Galactic Historian travel dollars?
No, I'm keeping my winnings.
Keeping your wins.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Keep
Don't
the
worry,
celestial
house-
wallet close to your chest.
House always wins.
I've got some hustling to do tonight at the hotel. I'm going to visit the red light district.
Oh, it was 4 weeks ago.
Really? Oh,
That feels,
see,
Wow.
doesn't it?
longer than that.
Feels like
Wow.
6 months
4 weeks ago.
So in 4 weeks, we've basically organised it.
Yes.
Mm.
So we had a call because Laura had said I'd really like to sponsor you and bring you to Europe. So I said, well, put Dale and Maty together and we'll talk about it and come up with an idea. And then we met one Saturday at 2:00.
Us tap the time, the fixed time.
And the spell was made.
That's where it was made, exactly. And so they talked about, well, we could have a camp out, we could have a retreat center and doing all these different things. And we're like, damn, that's a lot of work.
Yes.
And then I pulled this brilliant idea. Why don't we just do a bus tour?
Mhm.
And we looked at all the stuff and it was simplified in that moment. Why go through all this extra expense and hard work and getting everything done? With the first one, we can let the bus tour do everything. And we just make the bus tour as enjoyable as possible with as many experiences as possible. And that's why I set everyone up with that little galactic tour. So Dale, do you have a picture of the route that you sent it to me via phone? Could you put that on the screen if you could share it?
Say that again. Sorry, Andrew. It broke up then.
There's a route that you sent me as a picture.
Yes. I'll
Could you
grab
share that on screen?
Yes.
And everybody, this is all tentative right now. We're waiting for the final bid to come through. prices are very, very screwy, as you well know. So we're hoping to have this final and done by the 1st of and advertised by the 1st of December. Okay, so it's about 5 weeks away, 6 weeks away. If it takes longer, it's because of the final bid or fuel prices.
December.
All right, give it.
Yeah.
And we're planning it for July
Correct.
next year.
Unless anything changes. That's the tentative July next year.
Yeah. And in a minute, I think Dale returns the dates that we've actually pre-booked with the tour company.
Give me a few minutes to figure
Yeah.
this out.
So how many days did we agree on then, Andrew?
10 days.
A 10-day tour with the
9
Galactic
nights.
Historian, all around beautiful Scotland, to some sacred sites and some of the islands, with all of that extra information added through, and some extra bonuses as well, isn't there, Andrew?
Yes. Hold on 1 second. I'm leaving my advice area. Before we get into that, let's just give everybody the background of why we wanted to do this in the first place.
Yeah.
We wanted to give everyone the best possible experience out there. And that's why we decided to do Scotland. Scotland sells itself for its own 10 days.
Yeah.
But the mystical and magic that we get to add to it.
Yeah. And it's not static. So it's not just a one-time event in one place.
Yeah.
That might be difficult to choose.
Dale, can you just share screens, the picture?
Yep. I'm just getting it up because 1 second.
I'm going to ask anybody in the chat room who's ever been to Scotland, unless you live there.
There are 2 different types of Scotland.
Oh, Maty.
Has anybody tried haggis before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, I've got it saved now. I can show.
Or deep fried Mars bars covered in batter.
Deep fried ice cream cake.
Yep, that's what they do. And the Mars bars, ice cream cakes, all the different chocolate bars that they sell in the UK, you can have them deep fried into batter in Scotland.
So
That
somebody
must
was
be-
asking if they can pay for the Scotland trip in GH dollars. Sorry, there is no transfer station here from infinite to finite.
We need blood money over here, man. We need blood money. Sorry.
Exactly. So anyways, while Dale's getting the share screen set up, so we just met that Saturday. We spent a good 2 hours on all the other ideas, and then we settled on a bus trip. And they said, so when are we going to meet? 2 weeks later, Dale goes on to a trip through the Scottish Highlands. Okay. And 2 weeks later, we meet up and we have our first set of bids coming in. That's literally how this has evolved. And we've had so many people already responding, like wanting to be able to take this trip. And we also wanted to make it as fun as possible. And one of the things we wanted to do is to make sure that you would all have these types of special crystal tools that I've made before. For those that have been around a while, do you remember those? It's not for those that haven't. So a yes and a no.
We
So,
do have a lot of
essentially-
new
Yeah.
people.
So what I do, I make my version of Organite, and these are some of the teachings that came to me decades ago. So Organite is crystals under pressure create piezoelectric effect. That's the basic of the science behind it. The types of minerals that you use in your hardened section, where they're using a silicon mold, silicon, just some type of hardened thing. It's not a natural material. So I use beeswax and I use all different types of
Plastic.
crystals, including magnets. And these things are not small. They're kind of big, actually. 1 second here. Let me turn my camera on. I don't know if you can see this. This is from one of the events. This thing
So
weighs
basically,
about
where you see conventional orgonite.
yeah.
So go on.
Instead of conventional orgonite, it
I
uses
said to people, so
beeswax. Yeah.
beeswax, exactly. Everything's the same, other than the fact that the crystals are much more well organized. And instead of plastics and hardened plastics, it's beeswax.
Yeah, and there's far higher volume of crystals in it too. So we're going to make these for everyone, okay? Because again, we want you, like, these will act like energy fountains that will constantly be moving your energy when done correctly. There's a particular formula to doing that. And then there are bigger ones that I've made, but that's inconsequential at this. We want to give people tools of power so they can experience places of power and help filter through some of the potentially negative and positive things that will come for it.
Andrew, is there a way to, I'm just trying to figure out what's the, I've been trying to just, yeah.
At the bottom of the screen, share screens, share desktop.
Whiteboards, apps, reactions, show captions, participants, security, but there's no share option.
Isn't it on the bottom of your main screen?
Yeah, bottom of your main screen. It should just say share.
In the middle.
Square, a green square.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Yes, Jason, that's a continuous teaching. That's the whole point. So that even when you take it home, it's a continuous teaching. It's been activated by all those places.
How many people own a piece of technology that was created by the Galactic Historian? Not many, I can tell you that.
That many.
Careful, Dale.
Don't you worry, mate. There's not. Go on here, brother. I've literally got. If anybody's wondering why there's loads of different people, because of the talking situ, I have to edit a lot of things.
I could straight up never do this with my computer.
Right, so just bear with me 1 second.
So Sandy is asking if it's a Tasman or Totem. No, it's neither Tasman or Totem. It is object.
Can you see that?
Yeah. Can you just full screen? Just make it full screen.
Good.
It's a screen grab.
Yeah, that's a screen grab.
Yeah.
Can everybody see that all right? Enough to figure out? Yeah.
It looks fine to me.
Yeah.
Could you zoom it at all?
Zoom in. It doesn't give me the option, I don't think. Resize. No, 1 second. Now, is there a zoom? I can't seem to see a zoom, Andrew.
What about you had to, oh no, your desktop itself?
Yeah, double click on it.
There we go. Yeah. So it would be starting in Edinburgh and going up. And as you see, so you'd be in like Oban, Isle of Skye as well. So it's great because it's off land as well. So we'll be able to go to Isle of Lewis. And it's an incredible route as well, because you'll go, so there's a womb chakra area down from Inverness going to Ben Nevis, which it changes from 100 miles. It moves around. So we'll be going through all that area as well, which would be incredible.
And you have lots of open ocean experiences too.
Yeah.
The possibility of whales and dolphins. They're very magical, the sea crossings.
Yeah.
This is going to be no ordinary bus tour.
Right.
And up to Orkney, which is slightly off the screen, but the archipelago of Orkney, which has 3 of the major sacred sites in the world on Steness, Maze Howe.
Yeah, Orkney there.
Brogna, yeah. But it's small. I mean, Kirkwall's not. The ferry goes to Kirkwall, doesn't it? It crosses the. And it's where the North Atlantic meets the North Sea, which can be quite exciting, apparently.
Well, this tour, so we did a lot of research and we had a look around loads of different places, and it's quite hard to find a tour which does a route like this. Mainly, some of the tours only do like, say, maybe Lewis and they wouldn't go to the Orkney, but this specific one is like one of the only ones really what goes up there as well, as Laura knows as from. It's hard to find what does it all, and
Oh, totally.
And that ocean between the Isle of Skye and Lewis and going around there is considered some of the most dangerous waters on the planet.
Between Orkney and up the top here, John O'Groats, or wherever we go from, that is the Pentland Straits, the Pentland waters, which are considered really dangerous.
Is that where the whirlpool is?
Yeah, that's up here.
Yeah.
So over to, I had a very, this is about 3 hours. Oh, it's gone. That's about 3 hours over from Ullapool to Stornoway. It's lovely.
The boat trip, yeah.
Yeah, the boat trip, yeah.
So Andrew, why don't you explain what it is that you can offer that's unique at these places? What would it that the Galactic Historian would be experiencing as we go on a journey such as this?
Well, it's not about what I'm experiencing, because when I'm taking people on tours, it's what everyone is experiencing. And then,
but we share in your experience.
Not really. I'm sharing your experience actually, because you're the ones of the DNA that is influencing the area. Now, as does mine. Now, there are certain places that have a history to them that's not in any public record anywhere. Physically being there makes it very easy to read and connect to the people that have the genetic awareness of that place and space. Second is the journey there. In the bus, there are places that we'll do prayers and ceremony before we get there, or ones we do when we get there. Very limited amounts, because they're very strict on what you do in different places, but on the bus you can do whatever we need to do, which is cleanse and prepare people for experiences. Each and every one of these sacred stones will be a unique experience for each and every one of you. And we want you to have experience after experience after experience until you go home validated that you have an infinite spirit, an infinite soul, and the uniqueness of these experiences didn't overwhelm you or destroy you, but expanded you and made you grow greater and aware. A stronger being to come off the tour, and to have a sacred object that's going to help you filter and flow through the energies. And when you find stagnation, to have growth. Have that ceremonial and prayer group buddies before you go in and out of places. That's why I do these tours. Show people the communal nature of how focused intuition and focused preparation can create some really unique pilgrimaging type experiences.
And you've been holding back on stream reads, so there'll be some incredible stuff happening on that front. He's been holding the weapon.
So basically with the bus tour, I'll be doing a lot of talking. Okay. And Dale, I believe our bus size is 31.
Yes.
So it's not a terribly high amount of people. Okay.
It's going to be a very unique experience.
Yeah, but some of the sites lend themselves better to, like, let's say, a middle-sized group like ours, especially Callanish. Mm-hmm. And also, you don't want to overwhelm the hotels or, out there, because they don't have a huge amount of space in some of them.
I think we'll overwhelm everybody we come across.
What with our energy? Yes. Yeah.
And there'll be a tour guide as well, so there will be that extra on top, a lot of information about the history as well.
Yeah.
As well as the other Andrew's unique perspective.
Yeah.
And they have their unique relationships with the hotels and the sacred places we go to.
See, I can also give people city to city the different ancestors that are meeting and greeting us as ancestral tourists, because we are ancestral tourists right now. We're touring an area through tourism to come and connect to a place and a space. And that absolutely has been pre-planned in the fetus. It was just planned triple Z until you got on the bus. And then it meant something. As your precognitive workforce dusted off the old plan and go, oh shit, they're there.
Game on.
Game on. Who the fuck's this Galactic Historian? Then, assembled all of them.
And we're going through Glencoe as well, aren't we, Dale?
Yeah, and we'll see the ghost of
Which
Jimmy
is-
Savile.
Oh, don't. Don't.
We always got to bring it down, Dale. Always got to bring it down.
I'm joking. That was a joke.
Glencoe is just absolutely amazing.
And
There's
now
nowhere
for
like
the beings
Glencoe.
out, for those of you out there that can't come along this experience for whatever reason, there are limited numbers. We are going to be recording the experience.
Well,
So we are
attempting.
attempting to. We're going to try and
It'll be
find
just a
10
Facebook
people.
Live.
Yes.
Our intention is to.
Yeah.
We're
We
going to
actually
find some
have.
people crazy enough to come along with us and to film
Right.
the experience. And
So
Yeah.
if there's any people that are experienced film crew people out there and want to be a part of this from the ground up, we'll invite you to get a hold of us. And right now, like I said, this project is about 4.5 weeks old, and we still have to find the camera crew.
Yes.
but we understand there's going to be a lot of very unique experiences here, a lot of unique teachings.
Yeah.
Andrew will be in a very different frequency to each place that he goes, and we'd really like to capture that so the experience is not only recorded but shared on a greater level.
Right.
And travelling through a womb chakra, as Dale said. Travelling over the water, I think it's twice, isn't it?
And
Yeah.
Andrew
Sharing
might,
is,
Mm.
sharing is caring, and knowing is half the battle.
and Andrew might be able to help us locate the Loch Ness and see which lock it's gone into.
Yes.
Oh, the monster.
We'll see
yes.
which one it's gone
Yes.
into. No more food here.
Yep.
And we're going to get our dragon egg detectors out as well, Dale.
Oh,
in case.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll do some dragon egg hunting.
We
And
want to
your
nick some dragon
galactic-
eggs.
And galactic fishing rods.
Yes, galactic fishing rods. As we all fish for a plesiosaurus in the loch. So Dale, which of the locks are we going to visit?
So let me have a look. So we'll definitely be going through Loch Ness. Let me just get the map up one second. Right,
And those of you who don't know, these are one of the bus tours that it's extremely scenic driving. So having quality cameras to take pictures through windows is very important. You'll have absolutely stunning scenic sights through the entire tour.
so as we go through the five. So we're going to Loch Attrick Tan. We'll be going through Loch Ness and up to Inverness, which is a really cool, huge loch going all the way through. So when you go up the, so when you start like that line where the womb is, that area, it's basically just locks connected going up all the way through. So we'll be able to go through each and every lock up there. It's incredible as well because Inverness, there's actually whales, dolphins as well, seem to spawn a lot around there. We'll probably going through Loch Long. So there'll be loads of locks we'll go through and we'll be able to see that line.
You can't miss them, honestly. There's just so many. And also like some of the drive, like from the Isle of Skye back to Loch Ness is beautiful, and up to Ullapool. It's all like out of Harry Potter land, Harry Potter filming. I think we go to Glenfinnan.
Yes,
and there's an opportunity, isn't there, to go on the Harry Potter Express?
Yes. So you'll go through the area on the Hogwarts Express went through on the hills, you'll see it. And there's loads of areas near Glencoe where actually it was filmed in. Fort William, there's all around that area, there's loads of locations where it's filmed in. So I'm sure the tour guides as well will be able to give us more light on that and exactly where they are.
Yeah.
Because they use a lot of that for the marketing and getting people to go there, showing them where the Harry Potter stuff is.
So basically,
somebody's asking, is there hiking on the way? I believe at all the different tour sites, there'll be hikes to and from the sites.
Yeah, some are close, some not so close. I mean, Callanish is a few steps away from where the bus pulls up, but others you have to travel quite a distance.
Some of these sites generally tend to be on roads and right next to roads, don't they, Laura? And that goes the whole way across the UK. Many roads are put straight through the middle of these particular sites. You'll see that all around. So generally, it may be a walk, but it won't be a laborious hike. Yeah.
No, but the thing is, with walking in Scotland, it's like it's that
Yeah.
half the time, isn't it? So, so it's basically the Outer Hebrides and the Orkney archipelago are our islands.
And for any of you Outlander fans as well, there'll be a lot of places which was filmed in Outlander.
So each site that we stop to, we'll have a conversation before what's there, what's in potential. You'll be able to ask me a question, what's in potential for me? And it depends what the mystery has to offer back to you. Okay. This is where vision training, all the stuff we talk about in this show, can greatly advance your ability to see what the place wants to offer you.
What are you asking?
I'll teach people how to do off land based offerings, really simple pinches of tobacco or something else that we'll create as a community.
I suppose we could do a message in the bottle off the boat.
No, we could do seeds.
Oh, seeds, yeah. Sean, is that the reference in the Skyboat song? What's that then, Sean? You'll have to answer me in the chat. No, he'll answer me in the chat.
All right. Does anybody have questions they'd like to ask? Hold on a second here.
Should we open up to questions?
Yeah, let's open up.
Live on the Zoom, be easier, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so have people go ahead and raise their hands.
Oh, also, what's the Edinburgh airport like, Dale? Because I've only experienced Glasgow, which is international, and there's hotels there you can stay at on arrival.
It's fair. It's not that big.
It's not as big as Paisley.
No, it's
okay.
Not, no.
The Glasgow airport's called Paisley. It's just outside of Glasgow, and that is about half an hour from Edinburgh.
So we're going to be opening the phone lines here in just a minute. So if you could go down to your bottom of your screen and you'll see a reactions button or 3 dots that say more, you're going to be looking for the raise your hand option. And then we will take callers of people who want to talk about, share their experience in the first hour of what we're doing, or if anybody like just talk more about the Scotland trip and what you can expect. These are the moments where you get to talk back to us. Interactive radio.
Okay, so we have one hand raised here.
Oh no, hold on. We have a tradition in Galactic Historian. If there is one hand raised,
Okay.
Okay. And we're going to ask for one more hand to be raised. Who's the chicken and who isn't? Buck, buck, buck. There we go. And because iPhone 13 Danae was the first one, we are going to ask her to unmute. Can someone send her the signal to unmute?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Danae, are you there?
I am.
How you doing, darling? Long time ago. We just talked 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
I guess I'm getting roasted on the spit now, right? As the first hand raised.
Yes.
with some haggis wrapped around you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Since you asked.
A few Scotch eggs on the side.
Sauce. Oh, too
Would
funny.
you like to put your video on?
Do I want to put it on? Well, I don't know what my background's like, so I'll try.
As long as there are no dildos or sex pictures, you're fine.
Okay, I don't know.
You don't know if there's dildos or sex pictures out?
Definitely put it on.
It's gonna let me. Unable to access camera, it says.
All right.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, all right.
You got off.
I got off this time.
So
right?
what do you think of the show so far?
Makes me laugh for an entire couple of hours.
Good.
Yeah. No, Scotland's beautiful. Oh my gosh. I was there about 11 years ago with a Can-Am Pipe Band. And oh my goodness. All the places that you guys are planning to go to, we went to. And treated like kings and queens. It was just beautiful. It was beautiful. So, but the first time I went when I was 17 with my Highland dancing class from Trail, BC, we missed the Edinburgh Tattoo by 2 days, and that was my dream to see that in person. And oh my goodness, yeah, magical. Edinburgh is beautiful.
What did you think of the experience in the first hour?
Yeah. The hotel, you missed the spa. That's the most important part of the hotel.
The GH spa. Yeah.
Where Andrew hands you the towels.
Well, it's
Andrew's
funny.
everywhere.
After lockdown and lock up, that's the first place I went, was the Sheraton Cavalier downtown Calgary. And that's where I did my staycation for 2 weeks because I was locked up for so long. So it was like a Calgary portal. That's all I can say. I was robbed. I was, by the Khazarian mafia. They identified themselves before they robbed me too. That's what was so crazy. And I'm like, oh my God, I just got robbed.
Mhm.
So yeah, but no, it's that was fun to do that visualization of the tour. Like I said, it's like you're in a movie.
Well, that's the nature of reality. It is a movie via perception, isn't it?
Exactly.
Just change channels, and sometimes the remote does not work.
Yeah. So are you guys planning to go towards the end of July or beginning of July?
First week or second week in July, I believe.
I think Dale's got the dates.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it would be the 1 second, let me just double check this for you. So next week, July.
Anyways, every time I've been there, it's like super hot weather. So
I
it's been like,
I think it was from the
I
3rd of
guess-
July. Yeah.
Third,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
9 nights.
Yeah.
Must have been
So-
an alternate dimension, Scotland, because Scotland generally is not nice weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
guess-
lucky. I
Yeah,
went
I was.
2 years ago in that time, and it was bloody beautiful. There was it was hot, so I was really lucky.
Yeah, I was too.
Wow.
All right, Danae, thanks for calling in. We've got a short amount of time left in the show. We're gonna get to those other hands that are raised.
Thanks, Danny.
Sounds great.
So Jason
Have a
Plum,
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Jason Plum, we're going to bring you on. Message to unmute.
Hello.
Hey, Jason, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, Andrew? What's up, guys?
Not much. Where are you calling from?
Summers Point. I'm actually in my ice cream store.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, let's see it. Let's see it.
Okay. There's a
Live from an ice cream store.
First,
The
Yes.
first.
I knew I could taste vanilla earlier. There we go.
it's not quite season. We just closed up actually. So I'm in here cleaning in the off season. That's what we do. It's a 45-year-old ice cream business. So Andrew, you know what that's about. The fact
Oh,
it
yeah.
is.
Oh yeah. So what did you think of today's show?
I loved it. It was really special. I came on about minute 17, so I was a little late to the party. But going on the journey with you
Mhm.
was an amalgamation of all the teachings that you've done. I was the one who made the comment the other day about an episodic, a seasonal kind of feeling. Sorry, let me lower my heart rate a little bit.
It's okay. That's actually what we're trying to create with everybody over here at Two Feathers, is a more broadband way of transmitting the teachings and not having to constantly go back to the basics for all the new people that have to put a little effort into it. Having an ongoing show that's for those that want to up their level and up their game.
And I appreciate it. Going through the levels and tasting the tastes, and bringing, like I wrote in the comments, the areas that we went to were all very familiar, and you have the guide, and I thank you for bringing your energy as our guide to keep that frequency high. And then there are notions like there are no more oral teachers, they're all gone, and yet we have you, and you share this frequency. Good on it on our part. We use our imagination and create with it, and then everybody's sharing, and here we are, like learning from each other, and it's excellent.
Well, thank you. We're all here to we're all here to next level it together. We're a next level family. Exactly.
The thing is that you say using imagination, but when we are projecting there, we are actually there in real time and space. We're actually there, and the beings we're interacting with are real beings. And this is the thing, is that this reality that we exist in right now is very exotic to most of the universe, because that's how they function.
Right.
Yeah, I felt grateful to actually stretch and be there, though I haven't. Yes, I'm with you, Maty.
You get it. You get it.
Yeah. So
when does season start for you?
It starts in March, when it's still a little cold in New Jersey. Beginning of March, and then we go heavy, into the summer, super busy.
Yeah.
And then we close up at the end. At Labor Day, like towards.
Yeah. So you basically have what, 6 months off?
Yeah, I mean, with like 2 months on each of the shoulders to
clean up and set up.
Yeah. So yeah.
What are you going to do with your off time?
Well, what I've been doing is trying to maximize schedule magic, maximize my, I'm working, I'm using, obviously I'll use some of the linguistics that we use. The a la carte system is now becoming more available. Using light language when it accomplishes, when you have your intentions behind it and it accomplishes, and then you bring those waves, and just like in Qigong, Dan, like you're familiar with the areas of discovery, it validates you to know that you're producing like multi-dimensional waves of light through your language. And the same thing happens with imagination. So it's been a work about how to make more time for this practice, so that I can actually work in the grind and not like lose that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, 100%. You're right at the edge of having your explosive development, so that it will, affect even the times that you're working. You'll be able to stay in explosive development.
This has been the goal.
Yeah.
Nothing can rock you.
Sorry, I missed it.
So do you have your seasonal time? So you work for some parts of the year and you make enough money to survive for the rest, or do you have to hustle for the rest of the year when it's out of season?
Actually make enough money. It's an established business, and I make enough money to get by. I'm not thriving with the money that I make during it, but it's enough
to keep you going.
I'm sorry.
So you have a decent amount of downtime where, so you'll work on, and then you have some work off time where you're covered. You don't need to go out and earn money. You can actually dedicate yourself to your practice and to those other parts of your life. It's a very fortuitous position to be in.
Thank you.
And as you said, schedule magic.
Yeah.
Your schedule is your magic. It's what the magic you're intending to do long term. And if you think like an architect from schedule on, it simplifies everything.
Yes. I thought a lot like an artist, kind of confused architect, but I'm coming back to the basics more and working on the fundamentals.
Mm-hmm. How has the light language affected you?
Well, my journey with light language has been pretty interesting. I didn't know I was speaking it to a bunch of like kids. Probably 2014, I was a PE teacher for about 15 years of my life. And about 2014, it was an effective way to get their attention. I took notes on your last show, and I wrote down the shock and awe that I brought with a splash of anger, got their attention immediately. They interpreted it as humor. I was actually using humor. So we have this multi-wave like effect. And I realized that you shed anger in that moment. You get what you want. You have their attention. I was like, oh, this has been working like this the whole time. So, and these are the intentions I bring to my dog or cat, if spoken there. And this is before, light language school was here to also validate it. So it was it was a nice, like, final, like, yeah.
But if you could have another oomph with a punch in it,
Yes, sir.
would you be ready for it?
Yes.
All right. Someone has stepped up to the plate. Okay, hold on 1 second. So click on that link in the chat room, and anybody in the chat room can link on it too.
Is this what I think it is, Andrew?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You put me on the spot as well last week.
Can you send it again? I go to the chat room. I see.
Yeah.
On it.
Okay, it's going to take you to a Google Doc.
Whoa.
And this is like a contract revocation, but done in the phonetic of the light language. And at the very bottom, it tells you the translation of it. Now, I'm going to teach you a very specific way of how to simplify and do this and understand it's all about the enunciation and pronunciation. And the more you be able to enunciate and pronunciate with intentionality behind it, the more you will understand of what you're actually saying. Do you see the document?
I do.
All right. So it's basically 1 page plus 1 line. What I want you to do is just read it out at a normal pace, and this is your very first time looking at it, and just allow yourself to cognify the letters and put together the phonetic enunciation of it, and just try to go at a normal pace. If you feel anything weird, energies, careers, let those happen. I may have you pause in certain places if you're going too fast or too slow.
Mm-hmm.
Just go ahead and read the first 3 lines.
Kui akli nagu lagu quick mash ali ik mag nolu ulu uli shaatie lek bachjusu nenzi shi tatlik she goy uvha kid ish gozi that was a silly one. Cozy gazi dagna ziek cc leon l xl ql kot bos si su log nu mog nu dak nu love faf du twe ilu cx zz we hali mafi tali maxi wek siek golnan josihi vestest east bagnag lagdag fifi mat ate qui ate we see at yet nax za wax ni na wagna oli of ili wili ashbash jezi jiza. Feels like the pressure is building a little bit. Mm-hmm. Stamina. Volza, kozi, azkazji, qui is z. vi la ki folfe ki le folfe gozo mazu jazu kazu his zu asnu his nie Halloween in Kanu, we knew na nui jazz alo splash ziqui beaks six qui yak aknag ak.
You acknowledged you did a lot of energy motions in here. Now, for the nature of this experience to work, go back up to the top, take a deep breath, and read it as fast as possible without any limitations, as fast as possible, and just let your enunciation be the enunciation.
Disi tatliek extug you hugvegdisk Kuzgozi dagna si leon excel Kuzgozius logmor nak dagnu la faduilo cxv halimafi dalit smoke weak siek al golgan is johizi fest is yes bagna lagdag fifiet naquiet we exeat naxeet wagnis oli ofli
Try even faster.
Ashbas jiznazu what's volzi kozika as akazki qui bili kifui jigazu mazukazu hisi kizen Halloween queen kiniwe jazzle splash shui biekna. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well done. Well done.
What was it like for you going between those brain states?
It was like trying to swallow a grade at school. Like I swallowing a whole grade. Like really. Like yeah.
Dale, you want to share your experience when this happened to you?
Yeah, so I was speaking to Andrew and he just threw it on me. I'll try this. I was like, so initially I went into it with my mind and the English mind of reading it, and my basically brain, when I was trying to, my mind got on it too much. My brain just went, I can't deal with this. It kind of just shut down and it couldn't. It was like going off 5 volts and I was in 2 volt mode. So for me, my brain was just. It was like stuck, and my brain was just like, I can't fucking do this. This is new synapses and stuff like that. But then when I started doing it more and more and actually going down and speaking from my heart awareness, my stomach, my heart, it was easier. But for me, so yeah, it was funny. I was literally laughing because my brain was just giving up at some point. So
the interesting thing about light language is this. So if you have external light language and internal light language, and they're very different things. So when I give my external light language, it's completely infinite. So now, if I try to do that internally, fail. So like Dale, you try this now. Give me some external light language that's empowered and fast and quick and high frequency.
Yeah, shokaki mawaka chukinja kumawaicha kunjaka kunja kuwa shakinja kaka.
Now try to do that inside in your internal thought. How slow is it?
It's different experience. Just slowing it down.
So internally I can only go waha kucha tanaka wata chaka. Well, outside I'm going.
Yeah,
they're 2 very different things.
It's like an iPhone 5, isn't it, or something? Still processing it.
What Dale was saying before is you were at a place you were making brand new synapses.
Yeah.
Synapses that will only make you far more effective at light language itself.
Yeah.
And knowing that state where the brain's trying to understand and in control and not in control at the same time is the defense mechanism against light language. and all you have to do is turn that defense system down and be in the flow. Okay? There are some people when I give this document to, and they go slow, terribly slow, and as they go fast, all of a sudden, clear intentionality comes out of them, because it's all about, can you be that instant lightning forward energy with your consciousness? You just did it once at a slow. You're already familiar with all of its energies. You should be able to do it faster. And then again, and you repeat that, and all of a sudden a more cohesive language will come through.
And you were saying that people with dyslexia can use that to the advantage, Andrew?
No, because it's not letters.
Oh, right.
and dyslexia works for you, not against you.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're dyslexic, that means you are very, very good at reading light language, making the pattern recognition.
Nice.
Oh, shut up.
It also reminds me of like learning an instrument, which I try to separate myself from and go superluminal past, I don't have time. I'm talking to Andrew and the boys and Laura. It's like, yeah, I gotta drop that and learn it real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes it is. The other day, I went into a high frequency of light language, and I love light language, and I was on a mushroom trip, and I just went into this extra frequency, and I was saying to Andrew, my arms were like they were doing this, and the sounds that were coming out. And Andrew said, "Well, you were playing a multidimensional instrument. You literally were." And the layers that you can go to is quite breathtaking.
And I had an experience the other day on a walk with two of my children, Heath and Peter, and I started doing light language. I didn't tell them anything about it, but I was just like, you give it a go. And they naturally picked it up so fucking easy.
Straight
and
away.
They were just straight away going into it and going. And I didn't even have to explain what it was. And I just keep going. And it was just, it was incredible, really.
That was awesome because you sent me and then we started to just message each other in light language audio. No idea what I agreed to.
Gabrielle's like, what the fuck's going on here? They're literally like, oh,
All right, brother, we got to move on to the next call. Thanks a lot for calling in.
Thanks.
Thank you too. Take care, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who wants to pick the next person?
Well, Claire didn't come on yesterday, so she might like to come on.
Put her on then. Just ask her to unmute.
No, she is. No holding back from Claire. How you doing?
I can do my video too, I guess. I'm good. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I'm good. I love these shows. I love you guys. I've been doing the work, for about a year and a half now, and it is just, I work full time like this other gentleman with his ice cream shop and all, but finding the time in between or coming home, it's just helped me more than anything. I've been on this journey since I'm 17, and your work, it's just a way of finding words, things you've always known in your heart and in your mind all this time. And it's coming a little slower for me, but it's excellent.
You're starting to get results that make a difference in your life.
Absolutely. Right away. Yeah. Even the first time I did a revocation, it seemed to stop almost like a Charlie horse, let's say you have in your mind. It just stopped. Yeah. All of a sudden I thought, holy crap, this is what I've been looking for, because I really didn't know too much about the unseen world, or I didn't believe in it because everyone thought, oh, it's all light, blah, 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 there's nothing else, all the typical stuff. So just thank you so much. And Laura, all the shows, I watch all the, the Talking Stick, and Laura, when you did that Journey to the Stars and you read it with Martina, Andrew, that was unbelievable. And I know Maty had mentioned it before, that really, really, it's just very wonderful. I feel very blessed. And
thank you. What did you think about the show earlier today?
I loved it. I was able to do it pretty quickly. It was very beautiful. The galaxy.
What did you taste in the food?
Oh gosh. The hot lava was more like kind of tinny metallic-y.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah, that was a little metallic-y. The light was very smooth, very almost like cotton candy to me. It was like changing on and off and kind of floaty, very, very light. And I love all kinds of food, so that was very interesting, very fun. And the planets that we went to with the mountain floating inside. Oh, I was able to think immediately. I want to go over here, this side, that side, and I was just going boom, boom, back and forth. All over. That was really, really fun too. And you know, it's
That's
funny.
what happens.
Yeah, it was really.
And that's what your galactic vacation at Galactic Historian Vacations.com. Come sign up on the multidimensional website.
Andrew teaches you to be an infinite being. So when he takes you on these journeys and your attention goes,
it does.
that's the way it is. That's the way it is.
And
Go
there's an option to get a tattoo as well.
That's why you're a tourist. Tourist.
Oh my God, my daughter just got married a couple of weeks ago. She's my very haunted daughter. Andrew and I have spoken about her before, but she's got so many tattoos now. I'm like, oh my God, she's getting them. But as a matter of fact, I had done her wedding. It was medieval, so I did all the decorations, and I have a lot of beeswax left over. And when you mentioned the tools, is that something we would buy from you? Or is it something we can make? Is it?
I'll teach. I'll be able to show you how to make them. They're not terribly difficult. It's just a matter of doing a bus trip over there. It's do we pre-make them all, or have an opportunity where everyone can melt them down and do them themselves. Again, that's a detailed part of what we're still trying to figure out.
Okay, very, very.
And maybe we could release a series in the future anyway, teaching people how to do these kind of things. Because
I saw some on some of your shows with Natalie.
Yeah,
I love those shows, DNA shows. I've watched many. That was excellent. I had something else I was going to ask you. Oh, you know, I had gone to Disney. I go to Disney quite a bit because I live in South Florida. The new ride is the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. It's brand new in Epcot, and it was just so fast. It's so incredible. And you're going through the stars and planets, and you're going 60 miles an hour, but you feel like you're going slow around the moon. And when you did that first part of the trip,
that's what it felt like for you.
Yeah, I got sick, but it was very beautiful, very beautiful. But that's part of this journey too, with your work too. You know, I'm finally on the other 50% point where I'm finally starting to really understand, without as much doubt as before, who we really are. You know, how much power we have, and I'm sure it gets higher and higher and higher. I have lots of healing to do still. I know where I need to go and do. But I don't know, it just keeps going from there.
It's juxtaposed, Claire, because the more you expand, the more you realize you're at the beginning of your journey, and you'll reach a new level where you think, gosh, I can't go beyond this level. I've reached the top of all I can. And then you realize that you're just a newbie, and there's all these other beings looking at you saying, what the fuck are you doing? You know, that's how it is. It literally is. Each time you expand, you're a newbie in a new playground. The new kid on the playground each time.
A new plateau, you know.
Exactly.
And then I make a decision, and you know, even before you didn't think much about, or you thought you could never time travel, or what are the different timelines? What does it all mean? And I realized, even just every day when I do my work, if I don't do that, I stay on a different timeline. I want to get back on this timeline, and I realize, oh, that's a timeline. Just changing your thought, getting back on track, you know. Because I work a full-time job. I work for a oral surgeon. So I spend a lot of time cleansing it when I get home. So I get better and better. So I keep wasting all that friggin' energy on that, you know. But
and every time that you're thinking about something that somebody said, or you're trying to correct a conversation that went a certain way that you weren't happy with, that you think you should have said this, or each of those are the times you're out of your body and you're in some sort of astral realm somewhere, projecting somewhere else. And it's so subtle.
Yeah, you're right. It is. And once, like you said, when you get to a certain point, you realize it on a whole different level, and it gets deeper and bigger and deeper. But you can't go back. Never. I mean, I would never. If I even miss my day of doing some of my work, I'm like, nah, I don't like missing.
Go back to sleep. It's an impossibility. I have this thing that there's a stream entry. There are many people who do wake up, go back to sleep, wake up, go back to sleep. But there are those that gravitate towards certain types of teachings that you can just tell. They're in a stream, and that stream will flow. Now, that's not to say that you can't get caught on the side and covered by silt, because you absolutely can. But the stream is still flowing. It's still there.
I did so many things through my life and went back and forth. And I mostly wanted to live. My sisters are all light healers and light workers, but it was too strict for me, you know, all the rules of not being able to go out, not party, all these other things, you know, not have too many friends.
Oh, the classic grandmother light worker bullshit tales.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Right.
Yep.
I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but this is so perfect because it's the highest truth that I found. That's how I feel in my heart. Like I've been looking for the pinnacle of truth, of more openness. So for freedom, ultimate freedom is all I really, it's all of our hearts want, I think.
Mhm.
You want to be able to, on Martina's show the other day, you have to be here. Your soul comes in. You want to have all these experiences, not be bogged down, and be able to create with a very clean mirror as much as you can, because it
Right.
should be, you know, tired of
Before I
it.
began the path of self-mastery, I was a certain person with a certain likes and dislikes, with a certain flavor. And then I went through my self-mastery journey. Of course, there's a destruction that happens before that. We all experience that kind of destruction where the pain gets so bad, you have to do something about it. Then I had this vision of what it was I wanted to create. And so I created that vision, and it was inauthentic. Then once I became authentic and I practiced enough, I became almost exactly the same as the person I was before. Yet I'm no longer haunted. I have this moral code that I live by, and I have this truth frequency that emanates from me. But yet I'm still the same person as before. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
People
no,
would meet me and you wouldn't even know. And I would never try to impress on somebody, this is who I am, this is what I'm capable of. And it's that once you escape from that need for constant validation, internally, externally, left, right, up, down, once you escape from that and you don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about you, then you become truly authentic. And that's when the universe opens up to you.
Nice. Yeah, because you spend so much time trying to be different because you're in so much pain, and that's not even the beginning of the answer. And
You
being
are who you are.
And the authenticity, I realized it was a show I think Andrew was doing with Kathy a long time ago. And she was speaking to a gentleman who was he felt like nobody liked him and things like that. And that's how I've been in my life a lot because I'm very different. But it was just the fact that I wasn't authentic. And when she said that, poof, it was like, that was the answer that's been haunting me for so many years, you know. If you're not authentic, people aren't going to see you in a certain light. But if you're authentic and they don't like you,
Who
you know,
cares?
it's not your problem.
Who gives a shit? It doesn't mean that you have to like make sure that they know that you don't get on. It's just a case of that this is life saying to you, no, this isn't going to serve you, and you gravitate your way around the world that way.
I had a experience like this. So I had an old teacher who I first did my Reiki stuff with, and they were very light worker in the light. That's all they talked about, blah, blah, blah. And they actually came to one of my events lately, which is really random. And I thought they might have been different, but they're still in that false light concept, still blinding them. And even that's 9 years on, and they're still holding that kind of like not being authentic, always being in this light worker salad mode. And it's gotten deep. It's gotten deep into a lot of people.
Yeah. I belonged to a group in my early 20s that did a lot of channeling, and oh gosh, the stuff that happened there. I got so hurt so many times just by what it did, and it really it terrifies me to even come on here and talk. I'm like, because it still I think is in the back somewhere, and I didn't realize that till the other day. I thought that's why I'm afraid sometimes to even.
Claire, do you remember sort of 2014, 2015 when the great channeling wars were happening, and all of that information? Was you around in those days?
Not with
was.
Was you not? Remember, right, there was in about sort of 2013, 2014. There were these huge volumes of channeling that was going on. And it was all the Galactic Federation of Light, the angels, the silver unicorns, all these things that were going on. And there were channels where these people were writing their day-to-day channels. And you could actually see it came to a point where people were saying, I don't know who this is I'm speaking to, but they will not fucking leave me alone. And I want them to piss off. And it was literally in those kind of terms, you know, real colloquial language. And it just kind of collapsed, didn't it? I think George Cavassalis was one of the first ones to speak out about it. Do you remember, Laura? It was like the great channeling wars of 2013, 2014.
I do. I lived it.
And for me, as a being I was, it actually led to me being taken away onto ships and having experiments done and things like that. It got serious.
Oh, it was with that like automated annoying voice, wasn't it? It was like a computer
Yeah.
voice, like Archangel Michael, and like
Yeah.
really
Yes.
robot. Like
Yeah.
angels
The
coming,
blessed
we have
crystalline grids of
ascended.
the Yeah, the blessed crystalline grids of the earth are now aligning with the central galactic central suns, and the angelic communities are coming down to bring in this. It's just constant.
Light salad. Light worker salad. And you wonder why I come up with those terms.
God.
So it's just spouting off a bunch of bullshit. So what does the
It literally
crystalline
was.
structures have to do with Uranus coming out of Neptune?
Yeah. Or how you get up and go to work in the morning and come back.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just enjoy this very much.
Or they're doing it all for you. You don't have to do nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That was the
right,
big
yes, yes.
one. I used to wake up every morning, look out, the ship's here. Oh, fuck.
So I made a revocation a long time ago to all those who are doing it for me and not asking me, fuck off.
Yeah.
Throughout all time and space. Stop stealing my experience, asshole.
Mhm.
It's a different, I want to do it myself because I feel it. The
Yeah.
little jumps that I have, I still get lost, I still get whatever, but it's not permanent, it's a little
Mhm.
temporary. And
It
know
is the journey.
You're not
Yeah.
all of a sudden a flat earther with purple hair.
No.
Yeah.
And a fruitarian as well,
A fruitarian flat earther, exactly.
Yeah.
which ends up in hospital.
I remember being so disappointed when I was told all I had to do was sit on the settee and watch the person next to me who would go crystalline and spin up and ascend, and then it would be my turn, and this would happen very soon. This was all being channeled. And like Andrew said, I was just so disappointed. I thought I came for the experience. I actually want to experience this. I want to do the work. I don't want to do it that way.
Yeah, but how many of them spun up and actually went up?
I don't, nobody.
None of them.
So what did you miss?
Not a
What did you
single
miss?
fucking one.
It's the fact I believed it then.
So the old what's his name, Drumvalo and his
Oh,
macabres.
I
The
feel
amount
it.
of money people spent on that.
Actually, I got one of his little books about going into the heart, and that taught me the visualization of dropping into my heart. That was okay. But yeah, Melchizedek, I think, right? Is his name something like
Oh,
that?
cheesy deek. Cheesy deek.
Yeah, cheesy dick.
And then there was Cobra. Does anyone remember
Oh,
Cobra?
Oh, the
we
limp
don't
snake.
mention that name.
Yeah.
The
Don't
limp
mention that name.
snake
No.
that decided to sell everyone physical gold and silver, less by Pleiadian tachyons.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's
Plus
that
the bonds.
Corey Goad time, wasn't there, where there was
Oh,
always that
yes.
something new has come in. There's this new secret information coming out. So
Oh,
you-
that was
Corey's
because
a good man.
he was with David I'm an
Wilcox.
Wilcox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's who I mean. Yeah.
idiot.
You know,
Corey
Who's
was a good man.
still
Corey's a
promoting
good man.
Trump's in office, even though he went full on biblical Jesus again to get out of the
Yeah.
shit place that he put himself in by supporting the Q group.
oh, he did. I
Oh
haven't.
yeah, hardcore.
It's funny because a friend of mine introduced me to Gaia TV back in 2017, and I watched his whole line of wisdom teachings.
Those are great.
They were,
Yeah.
that's when I realized, I was like, oh my God, I never heard of the Babylonian money system. It all made so much sense to me. It
Mhm.
was a good series. So
Yeah.
it really,
Great teacher, shitty disclosure guy.
One of the first books he did. What was the source one, Andrew? Source something.
Source teachings.
That was an incredible book.
Yeah.
And the references
Source, yeah.
in there, the actual homework he's done on there, where he's looked to some of the Russision teachings and the way he's referenced it and translated it. Absolutely mint.
Yes. Brilliant there. Just failed miserably on the other side, but I still give him his brilliance. Okay.
he seems to have a good heart. He seems, I don't know.
He's definitely out of touch with his audience. Completely out of touch with his audience. So even if you have a good heart, if you're out of touch with your audience, you're never giving them what they really want.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's an unfortunate part about connecting to your audience.
It's the unlimited point of view.
Yeah.
And how many videos have you seen? The ones about Trump being a light worker, It's like right and center. Trump should become a light worker. There's people just writing essays about it.
Yeah, I know, because he was placating the Christian audience, and he was doing focused advertising because he had lost everyone after the election, and the only way he could save his audience was going Christian biblical and doing advertising in those groups. Back to Baal Horse and all the other things that attracted those people through those, because you'd be surprised how many preachers actually talk conspiracy in their readings from the pulpit all throughout the South and Midwest. A lot of them, quite a few of them. And then all the radio ones do the same thing. They're like as bad as Alex Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Except they have a collar. Okay? And a Bible.
I honestly think Alex Jones would be one of the best comedians ever. I really do.
Me too.
Yeah, I think he's got incredible like comedy skill.
Yeah.
Or at least a spiritual arbitrator. At least someone like that who's arbitrated between two parties.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Claire, we got to let you go. We've got time for one more caller we're going to get to.
Thanks, Claire.
All right, let's bring on Santo next, one of the OGs.
OG Santo. 1 minute.
Santo Cavallero.
Can you
Are
hear
you
me?
there? Yes, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you going?
We're doing pretty good. It's like, what, 4 o'clock in the morning for you there?
It's 6 o'clock now. So, yeah, it was an early start, but wonderful show.
Did you have anything you want to report on your tasting of the galactic food?
Well, you know what's interesting is exactly what you're saying is you have these experiences, but how do you share them? Because they're so personal.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you do talk about it, I find you've got to have the right audience. Otherwise, you know, you get permanently labeled, you know, as the tinfoil hat. And it's a very interesting balance between these experiences and day-to-day life, particularly when you've got a big family, well, particularly mine with a Sicilian clan, and I'm actually organising a get-together of the direct descendants of my parents, and it's over 100. So it kind of shows you that there's this link between your kind of current incarnated family and this whole other experience that's very interesting and difficult to share. So I love these, you know, these kind of meetings, even though they're virtual, but there's this kind of commonality of share or being able to share, even though it's still very personal. Like I was just putting in the chat before, where I had these experiences where I wake up and I'm babbling, and then I think it seems like light language. But I don't know what this means, Andrew, but I've kind of had it where I'm kind of wake myself up and I'm doing this kind of babbling, but I've kind of got my hands waving around in the air. And then
speaking like an Italian.
Like a Sicilian. Is that Sicilian?
You're doing your hand version of light language, yes.
But the part that kind of I find interesting now is how people are starting to trust a bit more and open up about personal experiences that they normally wouldn't share and get surprised. I even find that with my own family sometimes, where you kind of curiously look at each other and go, you had what? You know, because you never, because we're so programmed into this dimensional life of this is the way life is, this is the way it's meant to be experienced. And once you step over these particular boundaries, you're going into loony land, and be careful. You could fall off the edge, or, you know, something bad could happen. And we are mindful of our own, it's not a reputation, but kind of the way you don't always want to be the village idiot or the, you know, the loony in town. And sometimes when that label sticks, you have to take a light comedic approach, because people just assume that when you arrive, it's like, oh, here comes the village idiot. And you want to be able to relate at a grounded day-to-day way too. So you surprise people more when you're grounded than when you're not. So it's quite a weird thing when they go, that person was actually practical and grounded, and they know how to fix the tap, something very practical, and because they normally wouldn't ask you because they think that guy is the crazy one. Why would you let them in on a very practical thing? And I had these challenges over and over and over. So you kind of develop a very light-hearted you use humor a lot, and that kind of dissipates, as you say, humor being the greatest dissipator of dense energy. And so you dissipate it out, but at some point you want to share it. And that's what I like about this group. It's real, and you're kind of sharing these experiences without feeling vulnerable. And even though we don't know each other physically, there's this kind of connection. And you think, wouldn't it be
a bond? Yeah, we all share.
Absolutely. And it'd be great to be able to have those physical. If Scotland was a bit closer to Oz, I'd be like, yep, I'm on the bus. It reminds me of the
Santo, we have every intention of not just doing one tour, but doing multiple tours. And we're going to cover all areas of the earth. Don't worry.
Sounds like the haunted house going on.
Yeah. He's in Savil's house.
Andrew for a cigarette, I think.
You'll have to come down here.
We have every intention of not just doing this one tour, but we want to do Iceland with the Aurora Borealis, and then of course we're going to have to do the Aurora Australis. So we're going to come down.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Can't wait for that.
We have every intention of doing that.
We're in a beautiful part of Australia here. It's the Mount Warning. It's a big volcanic cauldron, and you just feel the energy. And we're right on the edge of a cliff where we live here, and it's rainforest. You're in the, a national Springbrook rainforest, but it's quite powerful, the energy. And it's interesting, just a month ago, we get this knock on the door, and those people from that, what's it called? I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here kind of thing. There's this
Really?
reality show. Yeah, they want to do a show on our property. And I'm kind of like, I don't know about this energy.
Definitely.
Yeah, but
how much are you going to pay me? Yeah, absolutely. How much are you going to pay me?
Well, it's interesting because they've been a few times and they've taken drone shots and because they want to build this big thing off the cliff to do, all these sort of exciting things. Mm-hmm. But I'm kind of just asking questions of how's this happened? How many people? One person first said, there'll be about 60. And then the next group that comes goes, there'll be about 100 of us. And I'm thinking that's a lot of energy.
So that's what it actually takes to film those things. Okay, they're talking about they're probably talking about a $200,000 to $400,000 budget on that.
Yeah, but
why not?
I'd say yes, do it. Just as long as it's clear in the contract, you're completely indemnified. You're good to go.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
They're coming back with the director and producer in a couple of weeks, so it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But it always comes back to the energy, and I just love the energy of this group, and I love the energy of that natural, living resonance of the land, and the contrast is unbelievable. Like my kids will ring up, can you babysit today? And you go into what I call the soup, the city soup. And it's kind of like, and you can't explain it to them. It's kind of like, it's not that you're saying, I can't wait to get out of here, but you're kind of like, it feels so good when I get home.
Yes.
It does, but while you're in the soup, you can be the garlic.
The shrimp or the shrimp.
Or the shrimp or the chili powder. The thing is, while you're in the soup, you can be whatever it is that you need to be to make the soup interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of that concept of contrast is unbelievable. And it's like we're just very close to the Gold Coast where there's the beach, and there's almost a 10-degree difference in temperature because we're about 800 meters above sea level, but it only takes us 40 minutes to get to the Gold Coast, and you have this incredible contrast in one day. Like we'll go down there and then we go 2 hours later, it's like, oh, we can't wait to get back to the cool mountains.
Completely different reality.
Yeah, but that contrast, I think, is what keeps us moving, or something about, and we become stagnant so easily. And I notice that a lot in the city. They feel as though they're dynamic, but there's this stagnant energy of sameness, of synthetic sameness.
Here's another way of putting it. In the city, they're moving in molasses, but out where you live, you're moving at normal speed. The city is actually slows everything down to an organizable karmic resolution energy. And it's designed on purpose to slow things down.
And you feel it the more time, and it's so difficult to explain it because it's an experience. And it's like with my kids, I say, wouldn't you like to move out of the city? But it's in their head, and they fight the notion because they know that, like just yesterday, we were with the grandkids and that on the beach. It was a wonderful day. But they gravitate back into the normality of the safe. It's kind of like this weird cotton wool that they feel.
The hamster loves the wheel, Santo. The hamster loves the wheel.
That's it. Yeah. And so I think it takes people like yourselves to kind of gradually encourage people to just try the experience, go, because we've been conned so heavily through the love and light movement, and people feel wounded. And I know I went through it. I lived through the 60s and the whole hippie movement and there were wonderful experiences, but pushing the envelope through lack of discernment. But it seems like it's a natural process of, walking, stumbling. You're learning to walk in a new world, and you'll fall over and you'll bruise yourself every now and then. But I find a lot of people either get sucked into that and feel they've got the answer in the new bubble, this new cotton wool, this rainbow colored bubble, or they get very jaded and triggered. What I find interesting is I used to have a big bullshit meter. You have the bullshit meter and it'd always be going off, the bullshit meter. And I've been listening to Andrew from, Chris Hale days.
Yeah.
Right in the beginning, because I remember we were doing a road
I remember you,
trip.
Santo.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Hey, that was about, 2013 or 14?
2013.
Yeah, we all remember you, Santo, from all the way back. We all know. Yeah, we all remember you.
Yeah, and we were doing a road trip, and this Chris Hales and Andrew guy come on a show, and I'm driving, and I'm like, who is this guy? What's he talking about? And I felt like I was going to drive through a portal and just go into another space, and became absolutely fascinated and hooked by, all the information. But as I was listening, you had this bullshit meter. You still weren't completely trusting, and then I go, yeah, I got him, Andrew. He's a fake. Bullshit meter's gone off.
Yep.
And but then I realized that it wasn't my bullshit meter going off, because it was consistent, the information. So I'd have to really try to find an inconsistency to go, yep, bullshit. But what it was my trigger meter. I didn't realize there was this trigger meter next to my bullshit meter. And the bullshit meter was going off. But the trigger was way in the red. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm getting triggered. And I remember, Andrew, you actually tried to really blow up my trigger meter with the vegan talk, because I was vegan at the time. And
such a trigger.
And Andrew would be like, I ate this, blah, blah. And I'll be like, bullshit.
He's eating animals. Evil bastard. Everything you said is void.
Exactly. His vibration must be so low. He must be, he's just making it up. But it was really good because when I looked at the trigger meter and started to be more neutral about it, I went, okay, it's me, isn't it? You know, in good old Monty terms.
You don't understand, like my parents were so happy because when I started listening and doing Andrew's teachings and stuff, I started turning back into being a human being again. So I was like in this light worker salad mode, and when I started doing a lot of Andrew's teaching, it brought me back closer to my family and let me accept them for who they are as well. It was a beautiful, wonderful experience. That.
So
that's
So Santo, this trigger meter, I have known about this for so long. And was I truly hammering on you in that moment? Yes. Individually, because the people in the audience back then made up a bigger percentage of the infinite things that I could reach into that the system wasn't ready for me to reach into. So those early shows, no matter what people were on, good, bad, or indifferent, or ugly, it doesn't matter. I had more opportunity then to throw a wrench in the plan that they would have no chance of seeing until months after it was in the system than ever before. Okay. The audience does make an absolute difference into the equation of what envelopes can be pushed, what new triggers can be triggered.
Yeah, I'm still wearing the scars, Andrew. Oh,
Yeah. I was lashing you.
Yep.
Could you speak a little bit more about some of the other triggers attached to the bullshit meter?
Well, there were the personal ones, and I think you have to identify the zealotry touch points in your own being.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't recognize the vegan one as a zealotry trigger point. I had unwittingly a level of love and light kind of approach to the whole concept, which didn't have any negotiation. It was kind of cemented in my being as the way. And you don't understand that. I think the other ones are the mistrust of in self to be vulnerable, particularly when you got monkey mind going, hang on, I'm talking about things that have burnt me in the past and I could be made fun of. Somebody I know could actually be watching this video and I could meet them, sometime in the future, and they're going to have fun. I'll become yet again the laughing stock. Did you see him in that video talking that nonsense? So you kind of have to have a fair degree of trust in self to be able to find your voice. And I felt that ability to find your voice is not as easy as it sounds, because you have to actually, it's having been through the very conventional corporate, going up ladders and doing a lot of presentations at conference, I know that stage fright thing, or, being a muser and playing and all that sort of thing. And it's a very different thing, because a lot of people think finding your voice is, just get up on stage, make the speech at the wedding or whatever. But it's not that. It's a kind of a trust in self, and it could be with an audience of one. It could be with yourself. But being able
it's
to
authenticity, Santo. Authenticity.
Absolutely. Yeah. And people are always able to go, oh no, that bloke Maty, he's got a rough past. He's gonna take you. He's just good at it now. He's learned a few tricks from this Andrew bloke, so watch him, and there will always be that, always. And you have to get used to the naysayers. You have to get used to all that. And the skill in learning how to filter it out in the moments. And it's kind of an instant recognition of the trigger happening. It's kind of like you have all this confidence in yourself and you think, I can do this. And one person can bring you down so easily, particularly your own family.
That was it. But that's, I can reverse that and flip that, because that's what Andrew's equation represents. Because Andrew represents, and you've already said this already, when you heard Andrew, you realized that he was always coming from a truth frequency. Now, there was another factor to it, because once you listen to Andrew for a year, everything he'd ever said fitted together. And that, all the different facets of it, not just the galactic history, but all the teachings and the other bits and the way they fitted together. Now, it would take an absolute genius just to make that lie, right? If it were a lie, it would take a fucking genius to make that lie. And so, you know, it was his truth frequency. And so, sorry, I'll let you get back. Let me just get this last bit out. What I found was that when we were in that point where there's all that false information and all of that weaponized information, Andrew was the one that was speaking the truth frequency. So when I heard something from Andrew and it triggered in me something light workery that I was holding to, I had to work through it. And over the years and the different progressions that I went through, eventually he validated himself through my own practice. And so there come to that point of faith where I realized all of that other stuff has not been validated because it's not even there anymore. It lived, it arose, it died. It lived, it arose, it died. And what stayed true was everything that Andrew's brought to us without giving himself just the teachings.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But it's a friggin' paradox. It can become an echo chamber, you know, where once you wake up, you think everyone else is able to wake up. It's like I came from, you know, that corporate world and academic kind of world. And so I've got a lot of friends who are academics. And one of my close friends who we've been sharing a lot of this kind of academic info, I thought he'd really warm to Andrew. I shared Andrew, but he's comes from a brain analysis, biochemical, written lots of books about that stuff. And he comes back to me and he goes, that guy's schizophrenic. And I'm like, is that the best you could do?
The best you could do, exactly.
So Andrew, from your perspective, this is a personal question, and I've wanted to ask this for such a long time. Those of us that have followed you for a while have noticed how many people seem to turn coat on you or treat you disrespectfully. And it's not broadcasted and it's not a known thing, but those of us that have been close to you see this happening. What is the reason for that? Why are there so many people close to you that get so involved in your movement and what you do that end up not being able to maintain themselves?
Samto had the exact definition. They don't know they have a trigger meter in front of something else.
Right. Perfect.
And refuse to look at it, or came in with that particular character flaw that I had an expectation that they could work through, which was my own failure. Trust. And if it isn't that, it's too many second chances, too many third chances, too many fifth chances, so on and so forth. And an understanding as a boss and a friend, often it hurts more on the friendship aspect, but those people never really consider that aspect. They've dehumanized me.
Yeah. They put you on a pedestal.
Yeah. Or worse, put me on a pedestal, then dehumanize me.
Yeah.
You know, Andrew, one thing I found interesting was the whole book, because when I got that book, it really was I felt a concise summary and something that I could share, and that, you know, with people that maybe were able to assimilate this. But here's a book, read this book. And so I bought a few copies and I shared it. Not one of them really read it. And I'm like, this is not something that can be just, oh, here's a book for your birthday or whatever. It doesn't work that way. And
it does for some individuals. Books will find them on their own. Books can't be forced onto a person. The book already has a spiritual contract behind it, even before it was a book. There was a living, breathing process to that. And once it was put out in the global publishing industry, is it out of my hands? Technically, it is. Because the system and everything in 2, 3, 4, and 5 degrees of separation are in operation there. And sometimes you're 30 or 50 degrees of separation to tap somebody like you who will put a book, who will give it to somebody else, who will give it to someone else, which will end up at a coffee shop that somebody picks up and takes home, and it changes their life.
My whole spiritual journey started from one book that I picked up when I was bored in my mum and dad's house. And I eventually ended up in a monastery with a student of the teacher who wrote the book, learning about the mysteries. It was bizarre, all from one book. Just I'm going to read a book, this one. And all of this started from that moment.
You know, the other thing about the book itself, it was a big business decision to be able to complete, do everything, because, you know, having now to have a book, it's just a missing in marketing. Will there be more books? Yes, there will be. But that book described one aspect. The next books will describe consciousness and its higher aspects, and then how to see it now, here, today. How Kaya consciousness is here, simply waiting for you to tap into the ancient, real, now energy. Stuff I've been talking about since the very beginning, terminology that would make people go into full-on brain freeze. Ancient, future, now. How does that work? Why be quantify? You cannot quantify it. As long as you're quantifying, you're failing at it. Okay, and then teaching the laws of expectation. Okay, who remembers all those other those little quibble teachings that got everyone? Don't step on another person's journey. Why?
Oh, constantly.
How big is that really as a teaching?
Well,
The first thing you told me.
So 2012, 2013, I was teaching angelic Reiki, and there was something in the manual. So one of the requirements was on this from the first day was you send a treatment to someone, but you don't ask. And this is actually in the angelic Reiki manual. And this was 2020. So yeah, this is true. So in the angelic Reiki manual, one of the things is send a distant healing to someone, and you basically just don't tell them. You send the healing. How was it? Blah blah blah. And obviously, one of my triggers. When I heard that, I was like, "What the fuck?" And I was there teaching, like, "Fuck's sake!" So I always said you have to ask. I just did that on my own accord. So that was a bit of a trigger for me, but something I later grew to understand of how important it was not to step on people's shit.
It takes a long time to learn those lessons, doesn't it? And this is what Andrew said to me right at the beginning of the journey. I think it would have been 2015. I've been into Andrew a few years before I first got to talk to him. And he said it's the subtleties of stepping on one's journey in the now, and how much you can do that in any given day. At the beginning of the journey, it's very different to as you progress, and how much you step on anybody's journey, including your own, on any given day-to-day basis. That's the fundamental basis of the of your moral code.
Exactly. But Marty, you're right on point. But see, the thing is, the mind is so malleable, and the placebo effect is so powerful, that understanding where that line and boundary of stepping on someone else's toes can be rather an interesting kind of topic. Like when you're talking about books, I remember once we were just in Melbourne somewhere on a tram with some family, and I desperately had to go to the toilet. I said, I've got to get off the next stop. I get off the next stop with the intention of going to the toilet, and there's a secondhand bookstore, and I can never walk past a secondhand bookstore. I walk into this secondhand bookstore and walk straight up to this thing, and there's this book that I'm attracted to. I pull it out and went, that's amazing. I pull this book out, but I over-interpreted the signs and meanings what this book was telling me. I forget who the author was, but it was all about the change on the earth, and there was going to be this tidal wave and water. What was his name? Gordon Michael Scallion. That's it.
Yes.
Gordon Michael Scallion. This book, yeah, and all this water. And without realizing it, it affected both me and Jackie, my partner, to move away from the coast. And we
to where you are today.
No. We moved to inland. We got the message, but we over-interpreted it. We went away from the coast, not where we belonged. And it took us 9 years to finally go, we don't belong here. We need to be near the coast. But that simple algorithm are going, you can be near the coast, even if you don't quite understand what this message is, but you can go higher up.
Mhm.
You know, you can be in the
And still be
mountains.
by the coast.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But it took us 9 years to figure that out, right?
Yeah, but,
So-
but that was the journey, right? That was the journey. Those 9 years of the journey.
Well,
To understanding.
We always rationalize it as the journey. But if somebody said, you know what, that journey could have taken you 1 month,
Yep.
you go, duh, right? How many times do we do that? Where we go, I get it. And somebody's been going, I've been giving you that hint for a long time.
Santo, I've been making the same mistakes for 30 years, bro.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, guys. With that said, these new shows are meant to challenge everybody. Thanks a lot, Santo, for coming on. Are meant to
Thanks, Santo.
challenge people and share the communities. We are community building. We want to remind everyone to go to twofeathers.locals.com and just sign up for the page there. We'll have ongoing information, show dates and times there, and then some of the special broadcasts that will come out on that also. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, our second night has come to an end.
Muhahaha.
We will be back tomorrow
And we want you
for
all dressed
another
up.
show.
Dressed up, and it's spooky tales, including possibly Andrew. I think we said cryptic, strange stories, and then open the Zoom room.
And things that go
Microphone.
bump in the night.
Yeah, we have to go dark. We want to see
I think
people in
Dale
their
wanted.
Halloween
I think Dale
costume.
wanted to do serial killers and murderers.
Yes. In the mind of a murderer and serial killer and Jeffrey and everyone. That'd be sick.
No, Jeffrey, he's been overdone. He's been overplayed.
Yeah.
But we've not heard from Andrew's perspective of that yet. That would be interesting.
Oh God, I have no idea what's coming. Can of worms. You think the lava was tasting funny? Wait till you look at that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty cringy.
So at same time, 6 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. EDT.
Yes. And no matter how prepared we all are for daylight savings time, everyone else will still fail at it.
I almost missed this time.
Yes, you did.
I was messaging like, so you in an hour? Yeah, no, 10 minutes, 20.
Yeah. And we had the daylight savings talk the day before.
Yeah, we
Okay.
did.
Yeah, but you're in no time, right, Dale? You're in
That's
no
it.
time.
Yeah.
Yes, he has an excuse. He's got his no time certificate.
And I've got 6 children as well. That's another excuse.
That's why you have a no time certificate.
Eh.
All right, everyone, please hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube. Make a comment. Make a comment on Facebook. Also, please come and sign up for the newsletter at andrewbartzis.com also, so you can get all the exciting newsletters for all the new shows that we'll be doing here with Two Feathers Medicine.
And,
All right.
and sign up
And-
for locals, it's free.
Yes, locals, it's free. All right, Senor Dale, Lord of the Zoom Room, take us away.
Thank you.